Bonjour à tous et bienvenue. Welcome back to the podcast that brings a little joie le vivre to your French learning journey. I'm David, your guide to all things grammatical.
And I'm Emma, here to make sure you sound completely natural when you speak French. Today, we are tackling a topic that is absolutely essential, but often causes huge anxiety for new learners.
It's the ultimate French social filter, the thing that determines your politeness, your intimacy, and your entire relationship with the person you are talking to.
We are diving deep into the world of tu versus vous, that little pronoun choice that can feel like a giant, intimidating hurdle. We're going to make it simple and clear.
You know, Emma, I think the most relatable question for our listeners is, how do I know which one to use? Because using the wrong one can be embarrassing. It's like calling your boss by their first name when you shouldn't.
Exactly. But don't worry. By the end of this episode, you will have a clear, easy-to-follow set of rules for choosing between tu and vous. You will speak French with confidence and respect. Let's start with the basics.
Let's define our two players. First up, we have tu, T-U. This is the informal you. It is the French pronoun of familiarity, friendship, and casualness.
Think of tu as the t-shirt of pronouns. It's comfortable, relaxed, and something you only wear around people you know well. It's warm, but it's not for a formal occasion.
You will use tu when speaking to family members, like your mother, brother, or cousin, children and teenagers, almost universally, and friends, your close friends and people you've gotten to know well.
The key word here is familiarity. If you are on a first-name basis and have a comfortable, established relationship, tu is the right choice. If you share a beer, you probably share tu.
And here is a great, simple example that all learners know. If you ask a friend how they are, you say, "Comment vas-tu?" Or, even more casually, "Tu vas bien?" You use that informal tu.
Now, let's meet the other player. Vous. V-O-U-S. This is the formal you, but it is also the plural you. This duality is important. Think of vous as the suit or dress of pronouns. It's polite, respectful, and appropriate for any public or professional situation. It's your safety net. You will use vous in a situation that requires respect or distance. The most common uses are strangers you meet for the first time, service providers like a shopkeeper, waiter, or doctor, and people you work with in a formal setting, like your boss or a new colleague. Age is also a factor. Generally, you use vous with anyone significantly older than you, even if you know them slightly. It's a sign of deference and respect for their age. And here is the other part of the duality. You always use vous when speaking to two or more people, regardless of who they are. Even if you're talking to your two best friends, grammatically, you must use vous because it's the plural form of you.
Let's pause and drill this key difference. Tu is about closeness and familiarity. Vous is about politeness, respect, and plurality.
A good rule of thumb for beginners is, when in doubt, use vous. Why? Because using vous when you should use tu is a minor social awkwardness, but using tu when you should use vous can be seen as disrespectful or even rude.
That's the most important tip we can give you today. It's much safer to be too polite than too familiar. You can always be invited to switch to tu, but you can't easily apologize for an offense.
And speaking of being invited, let's talk about that moment. It's called tutoyer. The verb for using tu is tutoyer. Tutoyer. The act of using vous is vouvoyer. Vouvoyer.
If someone is speaking to you using vous and they want to move to the informal tu, they will often ask you directly. They might say, "On peut se tutoyer?" which means, "Can we use tu with each other?"
The tutoiement moment is a lovely sign that your relationship is moving to a more familiar stage. Listen for that invitation.
If they ask, you can simply say, "Oui, bien sûr." Yes, of course. And from that moment on, you both use tu. It's a verbal handshake into friendship.
But let's think about situations where you must initiate the use of tu. This happens most often when an adult is speaking to a child or a teacher to a young student.
In those cases, the adult, or the person in the position of authority, almost always uses tu. It's expected. For example, a teacher might say to a young student, "Tu as fait tes devoirs? Have you done your homework?"
And here's a funny, subtle cultural difference. In many professional environments, younger colleagues might use vous with older colleagues, even if the older colleagues use tu with them. It shows respect up the hierarchy.
Let's look at the grammar, because tu and vous affect the verb. This is where you, the learner, need to pay close attention.
When you use tu, the verb is usually conjugated in the es or s form. For example, the verb parler, to speak. With tu, you say tu parles. Parles.
But when you use vous, the verb is conjugated in the ez form. So for the same verb, parler, you say vous parlez. Parlez. The spelling and pronunciation are different.
This applies to almost all verbs. Let's take the verb être, to be. If I ask my friend, "Tu es prêt?" Are you ready? Es.
But if I ask a group of students, "Vous êtes prêts? Are you ready?" ETOES. See the difference? Tu es, vous êtes. It changes everything.
This also has a huge impact on commands, or the imperative form. This is when you tell someone to do something.
If I tell a friend, écoute, listen, that is the command form for tu. It's short, punchy, and informal. ECOUTE.
But if I tell a group of people or someone formally to listen, I must use the vous command form. Écoutez. ECOUTEZ. It's longer, more formal, and more respectful.
Think about leaving a building. If you tell a group of friends to come in, you would say entrez, the Z ending of vous. It covers everyone and keeps it polite.
It's a beautiful system, really. The language itself reflects the social relationship. The longer, more formal form of the verb gives the relationship the respect it requires.
Let's run through some common phrases where choosing tu or vous makes all the difference. We'll use a classic tourist situation, asking a question. If you are asking a stranger for directions, you should definitely use vous. You might say, Où allez-vous? Where are you going?
But if you are talking to a friend about your plans for the weekend, you use tu. You ask, Où vas-tu ce weekend? Where are you going this weekend? See how the verb aller, to go, changes? Aller for vous, va for tu. It's the same verb, but the formality shifts the form.
And let's look at a phrase we learned in our greetings episode. Comment allez-vous? That polite, formal way to ask how someone is. It uses the vous form of the verb aller.
The super casual version for your friend is comment vas-tu? Or even just the simple ça va, which is neutral and covers all bases.
Let's talk about a few tricky modern situations where the rules might bend a little. What about in a chat room or on social media?
The digital age. Generally, the rule still holds. If it's a public forum or a business account, people tend to stick to vous. It's the professional standard.
But in private, direct messages, especially with people your age, tu is usually the norm right away. Social media generally lowers the formality barrier.
It's like an instant tutoiement invitation. But remember, if you are messaging someone who is clearly an older person or a public figure, it is always safer and more respectful to start with vous.
Just remember the core principle. Tu equals closeness, vous equals distance or plurality. Use this lens to analyze any new social situation. You'll be right 99% of the time.
Well, there you have it. You have successfully mastered the most crucial social distinction in the French language. No more second-guessing yourself.
Remember, you are now equipped with the ultimate French social compass. You know who to use tu with and who to use vous with. You also know that when in doubt, just use vous.
And you've seen how the verb changes so you can sound natural, polite, and grammatically correct all at the same time. You've taken a huge step forward in your French journey.
We are so proud of you for tackling this challenge. Now go out there and practice. Find someone to vouvoyer and someone to tutoyer.
That's all for today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep that French confidence high.
Au revoir et à bientôt.
Salut tout le monde!